I appreciate your
Goddamn
research,
planet.
but
You
yikes.
romanticize a place when you're away from it for long enough, but I forgot what a dust-crusted pit Mars can be. Now what do you need? Oh, that's you then. I was informed we might be working together. Don't much care for Vanguard. It sounds like you two really got into the thick of it back in New Atlantis. My sister's kids live in the city, so, thank you for what you did there. Yeah, they both came through okay. One science division, other's an artist. Effectively useless human beings that would have had no reason to be anywhere near the fighting. Still, would hate to see anything happen to them. Now, what was it you needed? Don't worry, I'll handle the paperwork.
Hello.
Welcome home, folks. I know now isn't the best time, but I need to talk with you later. You know, I needed this. Exploring the galaxy with you by day, investigating the mysterious legal woes of my long-dead spouse by night. Vasco never appreciated my humor that much. I was just remembering how I'd pour my heart out to Vasco. So many times. I told him all about Irvin. He showed me a chart of how sad I should expect to feel. Why not? Trust me, I've talked to way less sentient humans before. Vasco's just fine for most conversations. Sure, folks from the Lodge, folks from my past. I've got friends when and where I need them. But traveling with you has been different. We're more of a team. It feels stronger. Oh, we got to point B many times just fine. Top-notch co-pilot. Would recommend him to anybody. Anyway, I'm glad you're here right now because we have things to discuss about Irvin's case. I heard back from my contact. They looked into Hephaestus Mining Corporation. Looks like they paid off the judge. And that's not all. My contact really came through for us. Turns out the witness was threatened until he withdrew his testimony. And thanks to our contact, we now have the receipts. No, my contact does for now. I trust them. We worked together a long time ago. And it depends on what I want to do with all the proof. If anything. Bank transactions. A precise amount was transferred to the judge only the day before the ruling. My contact has an audio log with the identity of the speaker verified, time-stamped, everything. I tend to agree. It's interesting, but not enough to take it to a lawyer yet. So I know a cyber runner who has accessed corporate archives before. They can dig into the classified archives before we go to a lawyer. We can pay extra for them to use less legal methods to obtain information, but that adds risk. I don't know. I guess that's a good question for a lawyer. I appreciate that, Captain. But I'll take care of any fines or bribes that come up from this. You have always been so supportive of me during this process. Let me take care of this part. Depending on what they find out, it might be time to talk to a lawyer. I'll see if I can find one. Whew. Taking on Hephaestus isn't going to be easy. And I say this as someone who's fought the Crimson Fleet. Maybe I should study up on the art of cross-examination. Might come in handy at the trial. That's solid advice. Know your actual limitations, and not the ones granted to you by a mysterious superpower. Anyway, let's go adventure while we wait on the cyber runner to get back to us. I know now isn't the best time, but I need to talk with you later.
Yes, Your Eminence.
Time to leave this place behind. Orbital insertion completed.
entered restricted space. Please respond. This world is off limits. You are advised to jump to safe harbor immediately. Let me check my logs. All right, you can proceed. We'll let them know you're on your way down.
Landing site locked. No passing.
Some people think of life as this delicate, struggling thing. But as I see it, life itself is one of the toughest forces there is.
You! Inside the barriers! Double time! You with the Xeno unit? You heading to command. Far end of the compound.
I pride myself on knowing everyone on this world, and I don't know you. You're with the collection team then, I presume. Either that, or you're one deeply unlucky trespasser. Vanguard, eh? Brief said you were an eclectic group. You must have really shined out on the fringe to get assigned a task like this. Ah, then this must be the rest of your outfit.
Commander Hatum,
No need for introductions, Major Simon. Dr. Walker, your reputations precede you, as does the urgency of your mission, so I'll get to it. Now, Londinian is one of the most dangerous places in the Milky Way. It's with good reason my soldiers and I do everything we can to avoid entering the city. Terramorphs are omnipresent, and the structural damage left behind when Major Sinon's father bombed its spaceport has turned large swathes of the metropolis into a decaying labyrinth. As such, we'll be providing you all with gear, information, and uploading municipal unlock codes to your robot. Every tool you could need to succeed out there. Except one. Once you're on the other side of those barriers, you will be on your own. If you get into trouble, my people will not be coming. Do we understand each other? Precisely. I'll leave you to your preparations then. You can find your equipment in our armory, base of the tower just outside. And I do believe there's someone waiting for you there, Captain. Now, once you're outside the base, it's my personal suggestion you make a beeline to the nearby Aceles plant. It contains one of our field caches. though I can't guarantee it won't contain anything else. I hope you all find what you're looking for out there. Robot, you're coming with me.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Commander. Percival, you all set to hook into their comms tower?
Should only take a few minutes. Let's get this done and get the hell out of here.
Percival will be scanning the city for our samples from here. When he finds one, he'll transmit the coordinates to us out in the field.
Pinpoint's a bit strong.
The equipment will be able to get us a rough location of any acceptable samples in the scan area. It'll be up to you, Kaiser, and I to find the things. All right. Head over to the armory and gear up. Once you're done, we'll meet by the entrance to the city.
Howdy.
Give him one for me, all right?
Heard you're going out there willingly. Damn.
Okay. Hello. You match our description. The Vanguard captain? The cabinet wanted you to have something. Make sure you had the best tools for the task at hand. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Did you mean to drop that?
Word of advice while you're out there. Don't trust what the voices tell you. Transfers complete. Those codes will allow you to temporarily restore power to the city. System
All set on your gear? Are you ready to do this? Yeah, just pre-mission jitters. You hear about a place for so long, it maybe gets bigger in your head than it should be. But you don't need to worry about me. I'll be all right. Now, are we doing this or not? Then let's get this show on the road. Kaiser? Percival, everything green on your ends?
I am ready.
Personal comm should be routed through Kaiser now. You copy that?
Roger, loud and clear.
Perhaps too loud.
Oh, you're a riot robot.
Kaiser, kick it off.
Unlock code transmitted. You may open the gate when ready.
All right. On our way into the city. Percival, where are we heading?
Running the first sweep. Got one. A Sealy's. Not far. Old shipping yard just past the processing plant. Gene samples are probably in one of the containers.
Kill protocols active.
What? That creature. It's dominated. Must be a morph nearby, keeping it under its sway. Let's put it down. More of them. Clean them up.
Search protocols triggered. Beginning scan. Hull damaged. Probable threat detected. Measures.
Looks like the last of them. No sign of the morph, though.
Your shipping yard's just beyond the processing plant. Cache with some goodies is towards the rear of the facility.
Kaiser, close enough for you to dial in the location of those samples from here?
Yes, they're faint, but I'm detecting multiple valid signatures. I have restored power to the containers.
Jackpot. Get down there and collect as many as you can.
I'm not.
It's not working. It's never going to work.
Samples collected.
All right. Now hand those over to Kaiser, and let's get out of here.
Samples secure.
Nice work. Now, earlier scan picked up a valid Terramorph sample, but, well, it's in the spaceport. And the quick route there looks like it got blasted when the port did.
There are steam tunnels under the city, which will allow us to access the spaceport.
What do you... That's right. Kaiser, how did you know that?
I am not sure.
Percival, you see any better option?
Not from where I'm standing.
You got our answer.
Access unlocked. We may proceed.
Kaiser, this flora, this is Lazarus plant, isn't it?
Confirmed.
You know, no one even realized it was a living thing until someone got it under a microscope and saw it had cells. Can't be cultivated anywhere but Londinian. Real marvel. All these leeches. What's keeping you things warm? What's that?
My God, look at it. A Lazarus in bloom. You know, we might be some of the only...
What's happening? Captain, are you seeing this? Oh my God. The heat leeches are terramorphs.
So, by consuming the Lazarus plant, they metamorphose into terramorphs? Fascinating. And also terrifying, obviously.
You just saw that, right? You would tell me if I was losing my mind. That heat leech became a terramorph. The pests that have snuck onto every planet are baby terramorphs. Heat leeches hide out in ships, sneak away after landing, and then, with time, they transform. We just found out how terramorphs move between planets. Pretty Major is right. But if what we just saw, if that's possible, The Lazarus plant. It's clearly an accelerant for the Terramorph, a heat leach transformation process. Make one into the other in an instant. But that means if anyone knew about this, they could trigger a Terramorph spawning. You could sneak a leech into a city, or even multiple leeches, into a place like New Atlantis. Good God. The attack on New Atlantis, does this... Could someone have set that up? But first, you'd have to know the truth about all this.
Well, we're never gonna know if you don't catch that thing. Get after it.
We may proceed.
Go!
Safety's off. Initiating terminal. Damage sustained.
All right, let's get to the bottom of this. First of all, Kaiser's got the cell data from the New Atlantis and Tau Ceti attacks, right?
Uploaded them myself.
Captain, let Kaiser take a look at that sample.
We're gonna... What have we stumbled on here, Captain?
Beginning analysis. It is a match. This suggests with high certainty that the Lazarus plant was used to trigger the attacks on both planets.
There's no way a plant this rare, this fragile, just shows up here, New Atlantis, and Tau Ceti. The transformations on those worlds, they must have been triggered by human hands. Captain, do you understand what it is we just stumbled on here? Exactly. Someone saw the Lazarus plant in action and used it to trigger the attacks.
Oh boy. So we're talking a whole new extra scary kind of weapon here, aren't we?
Deploying alien life forms isn't exactly new, but I've never heard of one that could pull off something like this. Makes some sense, actually. Tau Ceti was likely their first test, someplace remote where no one would question a few settlers going missing. Ensure the big show, the attack on New Atlantis, would be a success. And the timing of that one, it couldn't have been just luck that it happened right when we were asking the cabinet to do something about the Terramorphs. These attacks, I think someone planned them to set all this in motion. A plant this rare showing up unbidden on 2 different UC planets. I think it's more than just possible that human hands were involved here. But it doesn't answer any of the big questions. Who could pull something like this off? And why?
Let's save the discussion for when you all aren't standing in the universe's closest equivalent to hell frozen over. If we're gonna do anything to prevent more Terramorph attacks, human cause or otherwise, we need that final sample.
Roger that. Kaiser, get us into the spaceport?
The entrance is this way. I am unable to provide sufficient power to the lock mechanism.
Anyone got ideas where we could get some extra juice?
Local power looks like it was controlled in the security office. Upper floor.
Captain and I can scout it out. Kaiser, see if you can't find another way to get it open.
Roger that. I have restored power to the office entrance. You may proceed.
There's the control panel. Still looks operable. Of all the things to survive.
Reactivated. Error. Control system reboot required.
And we do that. Ah, Captain. I think I see it.
Reboot engaged. Running diagnostic. Diagnostic complete. Multiple systems unavailable. Warning. Priority safety concern detected. Exterior hatch power restored.
Back in business.
Warning. Emergency recorder message detected. Transcription process engaged. Playback initiated.
Admiral Senna, we need to make the evacuation request.
That's my father he's addressing. He was here? Didn't think he'd have the guts to look those soldiers in the eye before blowing this place to pieces.
Admiral!
It just transformed. An invisible weapon. No planet will be safe. Colonel, the troops that closed off the sewers after my evaluation, they're all in this facility.
Other than our casualties, yes, sir.
Good. Get them in defensive positions around the spaceport. No one leaves. I'll send ships as soon as possible.
Thank God. None of us wanted to go down swarmed by those things.
That won't be your fate, Colonel. You have my word.
Transcription complete. Physical copy available.
An invisible weapon. He knew. He knew about the Lazarus plant. Grab that recording. We should talk. Hey, Victus. He destroyed this place. Killed these people to keep what he knew about the Lazarus plant and the Terramorphs and all this a secret. Didn't he? You heard that recording. He saw the potential of the plant as a weapon and hid it away. He killed those people. Condemned this city to keep them from sharing what they might have seen. He was Yes. Exactly what we all thought he was. But I guess I guess that's just another part of his sick legacy now. He thought he was protecting us all, taking the secret to his grave. Only he didn't succeed. Now someone else knows about the Lazarus plant and is using it exactly how he feared. Right. Settled systems are counting on us.
Let's get out there and do something new today, shall we?
Kaiser! Try it now!
Guys, your sample, it moved. I'd be real careful out there if I were you.
That doesn't sound good. Eyes peeled.
Sample? Well, science calls, I guess. Get your baggie ready.
That sound! What is that?
That thing. Raiders lighten up. I think you're due for some company.
You've lost. You're never gonna...
I've done this 1,000 times. The signal that thing's putting out to all of those creatures, I think I can nullify it. But I'm gonna need some help. There should be some radar equipment powered up now.
after us. I guess we should grab that sample while we can. Good. Now just stash that sample with Kaiser and we're done.
Final sample secure.
All wrapped up. Time to get the hell out of here. Percival, you should unplug and find somewhere we can talk. Privately.
On it. See you soon.
what the cat dragged in. Look at all of you, back from the underworld. Got pretty frantic on the comms towards the end there, but it sounded like this was a success. Got everything we need to put this plan in motion. Ah, best place for them. Now, my connection might have gotten a bit fuzzy there, but do I have it right that Vay Victus knew about this damn plant?
That's what it sounded like.
Guess the old Admiral must have told someone what he learned. Even he's not clever enough to pull off an attack like that from the great beyond. That's putting it lightly.
But it's clear someone knows about the plant and realized what ends it could be put towards. Captain, we need to get these samples back to the lab and verify we'll be able to handle cleaning up the leeches as well as the terramorphs. But in the interim, do you think you could look into what we uncovered? See if you can turn up any information on who might have committed the attacks?
If it were me, I'd start at the scene of the crime, New Atlantis.
Thank you, Captain. Once you finish your investigation, we'll meet you outside the cabinet chambers. They're gonna want to hear this. Take care of yourself. No telling who might be involved.
Visiting a Londinian has left me with a longing for Nera. I didn't think this was...
One time I jumped off the cliffs of a planet with almost no gravity. Fun at first, but took forever to get down.
Be scanned as you enter the city. Please keep moving. Okay, no bounty. You're clear.
Tripping one of those Trident cruises soon? I'm excited.
Sorry, I was lost in a memory for a moment there. How can I help?
Authorized personnel only. Your friend has to stay here.
Oh, pardon me. Was that your stomach or mine? I might have some room if you need me to carry something. All righty.
Authorized personnel only. Your friend has to stay here.
Well, what a pleasant surprise. When I heard you and Hadrian were headed for Londinian of all places, I presumed you must be onto something big. Did you find what you were looking for? Good news, then. So, what exactly are you doing here? Plenty still to be done in defeating the Terramorphs, no? Did you? Well, I don't know what you think you heard on this recording, but I sincerely hope you didn't come to the wrong conclusions. After all, given the Cabinet's current state of anxiety, they might misinterpret such a discovery to mean I could have been involved with the attacks. Perhaps I can convince you to keep this among us. You know, you're far more clever than I expected. You want to hear the words, then? I did it. The Terramorph attacks on Tau Ceti, New Atlantis, my doing. Years of coordination between my associate and I, figuring out how to deploy the Lazarus plant's pollen outside of Londinian, learning to synthesize it, use it as a weapon. Now, being as clever as you are, I'm sure you have thoughts on why I might do such a thing. All in due time. First, I want to see if you're truly as astute as you appear. So why would someone like me go through all this trouble? Not a bad thought. But no. The attacks were a correction. When I discovered the plant, I did consider handing over what I'd found. But we were at war. And I couldn't risk information that dangerous falling into the wrong hands. So I ordered the bombing of the Londinian spaceport. Fixing two problems at once. Halting the spread of the city's Terramorph outbreak, and sealing away knowledge of the plant's potential. These were the final days of the colony war, Captain. The Freestar Collective had spies everywhere. I was concerned that if word got out, the Collective could swoop down, start breeding Lazarus plants, and overrun our worlds with waves of Terramorphs. Just like what was happening on Londinian at that very moment. Sealing off the city to prevent mass death? It was the only option that made sense at the time. simple to say now. But with the outbreak raging from a barely understood source, the moment demanded quick action. So I did what was required. I removed the dangerous variable from an already catastrophic war. But then, as the war ended, my trial, my execution, I made a decision. After all, I'd given everything for the colonies. My life as I knew it included. And what did I get in return? Was there any effort by the UC to protect my legacy? My daughter's legacy? No. We were sacrificed when all we did was serve. So I kept what I'd learned and arranged the attacks to set things right again. My daughter, she becomes a hero. I become a trusted advisor, having found Kaiser, the research team, and cement my new position of influence when I hand them the name of the person responsible for the attack on New Atlantis. The dear departed Dr. Reginald Orlays, the associate who aided me all these years, and whom I always slated to take the fall. What luck he was stopped dead before he could hurt anyone else. His decades on the run brought to an end by another unlikely hero. You. Captain, please. You've benefited here as much as I have. Maybe more. It's why I had Orlays reprogram Kaiser. Had that old machine guide you to where I found the plant all those years ago. I went to great lengths to ensure your and Hadrian's success. And look at the results. I know for a fact the Cabinet's planning to honor both you and Hadrian once this is all done. Isn't that preferable to languishing away in obscurity? Running jobs on the tail end of nowhere for the Vanguard? With only the vague hopes of perhaps earning the right to buy a home in the well someday. I'm simply looking for you to acknowledge the truth. And let's not forget the importance of our actual endgame. Eliminating the Terramorphs. Securing knowledge of the Lazarus plant. What we've set in motion is going to protect thousands, maybe millions of lives. I'm simply requesting one more life be protected. Mine. I've already sent along the evidence of Orlays' role in the attacks to the Cabinet, leaving out my own involvement. All I ask is that you confirm as much to the Cabinet. Tell them that it was Orlays and Orlays alone. After all, I do still have a long list of threats to the UC. This needn't be the end of our good works together. Hunting down criminals and other threats to the United Colonies. I expect they'll give me a bit more free range once this is all over. You would help me, like you did with Orlays. Track them down, and keep them from doing harm to the United Colonies. Impossible, though, if the Cabinet learns I'm the one responsible for the attacks. Splendid. Then I won't keep you. You've got important work, after all. Here's to a bright future.
Authorized personnel only. Your friend has to
Sure,
stay here.
I've got a minute. I'm beyond ready, Dusty.
Perfect timing. We just got in. So on our end, good news. The microbe and the Aceles are both as effective against heat leeches as they are against terramorphs.
Means either plan should work for clearing those critters off our worlds.
Considering what the Lazarus plant is capable of, I don't think we can deal with those things fast enough. I already sent along info to the cabinet to get them up to speed. So what about your end? Did you find anything? Any leads on who might have committed the attacks?
Orlays? Reginald Orlays? He did this? I didn't think he was still alive. You're sure it was him?
You all need to add some screening questions in your interviews to...
That's some impressive work. So then give us the rundown. Where's Orlays now? Were you able to bring him in? Oh, Captain, I'm sorry. I won't pry any further. Well, at least he won't be able to hurt anybody else now. Might be the best we could ask for, given the circumstances. So I guess there's nothing else to do but get this all in front of the cabinet. Unless there were other things we needed to discuss. This might be our last opportunity to talk things through before the cabinet weighs in on a decision regarding the terramorphs. And here we go.
Welcome back, all of you. I wish we were meeting under better circumstances. But according to Hadrian's report, and the second one I just received, it seems the Terramorph attack on New Atlantis was no random occurrence, but a planned strike. Is what I'm reading here true?
My God.
An attack? Using Terramorphs? How is that possible?
You will all receive a full briefing once we're done here. So then, is what the second report claims correct? Did Reginald Orlays commit these attacks, Captain?
That appears to be the case, ma'am. The captain tracked that information down just after our trip to Londinian.
Reginald Orlays? Wasn't there a report he'd been killed recently?
Body was found floating around Etheria. Report mentioned you were sent to try and bring him in, Captain. I guess that didn't go according to plan.
Ah, yes. I was told about your mission, and who ordered it. Did you two suspect at the time Orlays might have been involved in the attacks? Well, it appears you were ahead of the curve. This report contains definitive evidence Orlays triggered the attacks via this Lazarus plant the Captain and Major Sanan uncovered.
Simply heroin.
Indeed. Though it would have been preferable for him to have finally faced the UC's justice. It seems both of you are to be commended for ensuring he was dealt with before he could strike again. You have our thanks. Now, with our villain unmasked, we can attend to the other matters at hand. With the threads you've brought together here, the Lazarus plant, the attacks, the heat leeches, the three of you have likely spared thousands of lives. But it now falls to the cabinet to ensure this can never happen again. As such, the cabinet will be securing the Lazarus plant on Londinian. All materials related to the plant will be classified to ensure no one else learns its true nature.
A sound decision, Madam President.
I'm glad you think so. So then, to our final topic. The Cabinet has agreed to implement a plan that will deal with the Terramorph, and now also Heat Leech presence on human worlds. In fact, we've already begun enacting measures to check all UC ports and settlements for undiscovered nests. But we all understand this is only a partial solution. The project we're embarking on will be a long and difficult one. So our first step must be deciding how exactly this all will be handled.
Madam President, this microbe is clearly too much of a risk. The Aseles are the safer approach.
To someone with limited knowledge of biology, perhaps. The technology behind the microbe is solved science, Madam President. It isn't dangerous. Using it to wipe out the Terramorphs would be the quickest path to protecting humanity.
And fast results always lead to the best outcomes, don't they?
As you can see, there remains debate among the Cabinet. We were hoping your group might issue a recommendation. Major?
We've had a few discussions, but our group is similarly split. Only the captain has yet to weigh in.
I see. Captain, I know this may not be your area of expertise, but we'd like to know your take on the matter.
Glad to see someone's not afraid of a little applied genetics. The science division is in full agreement.
Here goes nothing.
Just some of the most advanced microbiological research humanity's ever deployed. Hardly nothing.
Order, please. And Major Sinan? Dr. Walker, you'd find this acceptable?
We trust the captain's judgment.
Then the matter is settled. We'll begin the process immediately. Today marks day one for the United Colonies Terramorph Management Division, making you three the founding members of the TMD. As befits such a group, the Cabinet wanted to display its gratitude. Today, we will be adding 3 new Class 1 citizens to our ranks.
Class 1? For the 3 of us? Are you joking?
What he means to say is, thank you, ma'am.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
You all have earned it. Now, there's much to be done. Major Sinan, Dr. Walker, I hope you two are willing to continue your efforts spearheading the TMD's research on Mars.
We'd be honored, ma'am.
As for you, Captain, the Vanguard will be providing much of the on-the-ground support for the TMD. As a member of both the Vanguard and the TMD, I believe you'll have your pick of duties. Speak to your commander, Tuala, if I recall correctly. He should be able to provide you with assignments going forward, plus help you collect the benefits that come with being named Class 1. On behalf of the whole of the United Colonies, you have our sincerest gratitude. This meeting is adjourned.
I'm pleased we'll be working together. You seem like a person who gets results. You made a wise choice, Captain. This microbe is the clearest way to a Terramorph-free galaxy.
Those officers we lost at the spaceport are getting justice. And that's because of you.
The UC military's lucky to have you.
Authorized personnel. Your friend has to stay here.
What's this? Just you then? No UC executioner. So the cabinet knows the truth about Orlais. Splendid. That means you and I can get to work. Well, thanks to our combined efforts, the Sanan name has more clout with the cabinet than it has in years. I hope to build on that. I have a long list of names civilized society would be better without. I just need someone to help me remove them from the picture. Should we begin the hunt? Or did you have questions? Just what I was hoping to hear. There's a slate waiting for you in the transfer system.
Authorized personnel only. Your friend has to stay here. Authorized personnel only. Your friend has to stay here.
Those are the details for our first, person of interest. Find them, eliminate them, and make the galaxy a better place for it. Though I would expect some resistance when trying to approach the target. Deal with any you encounter as you see fit.
Authorized personnel only. Your friend has to stay here.
By the way, Captain, Sergeant Yumi was looking for you. Sounds like he's got more work.
Well, well, I've got to say, this is a first. I've never had a Class 1 citizen in my ranks before. Congratulations, Captain. No need to thank me. You brought this all on yourself. I've already gone ahead and processed your Class 1 benefits. All UC goods and services should now have a thanks for protecting the colonies discount. And the credits should be in your accounts now. But to get into your penthouse, you'll have to pay a visit to the Aphelion Realty office. They should be able to grant you access. Higher-ups wanted to make sure you know how much they appreciate what you've done. But with all that squared, it's time to get you a new assignment. There are your standard Vanguard missions, putting those pilot skills to use defending UC space. Or you could help the TMD in cleaning up terramorphs. Oh, and I got a request from Dr. Walker. Wanted your help collecting biological samples to keep an eye out for any, new alien threats on the horizon. Any of those missions call to you? Sure. He'll have all the specifics. If you find yourself looking for more work, you know where to find me. Captain, something up? Okay, didn't see that one coming. No need to say any more. I know what it's about. He's convinced he deserves a promotion, which to him means a transfer, a command post, maybe a new ship and a big office. Do you know him well? What do you think of him? Fair enough. Clearly patience isn't his strong suit. I thought the constant stream of messages was a bit much, but if he's gonna be sending people here... Alright, I received some good advice from someone in the Vanguard recently, and I'm gonna run with it. I'd like you to deliver this message to Bastion on my behalf, the full authority of Vanguard leadership. He's gonna be the first and only recipient of a new commendation. Quite an honor. I hope he appreciates it. Please, give him my regards.
I'm telling you, Centauri Mills is the way to go. Stock up on their...
Hi there! Thanks for stopping in. Feel free to look around. I can take care of transactions, and if you've got questions, just ask. Thanks. It's hard work, but it all pays off in the end. And I can't take all the credit. Gerhardt, my business partner, he does so much of the work behind the scenes. If it weren't for him, I don't know where we'd be now. Oh, please, take a look. Thanks for coming in.
If you're in the market for
No,
artwork,
Amoli, I am Gerhardt.
I'm sure I can find
Partners
something
for
to
10
suit
years.
your needs.
Do you need a visit to Reliant?
Hilarious, truly.
Pardon?
You've been busy, I hear. Clearing out bad guys.
I'm sorry. Heat leeches can turn into what?
Terramorphs. Giant carapace-encrusted tanks. Enter the new
Need some wood?
scanning
Anything I can help you
On
with?
our watch, no heat leech enters this city.
Okay, no problem.
Understood.
Alright, let's get at it then.
Stow our stuff fast and get out of here. I'm anxious to see the stars again. I know now isn't the best time, but I need to talk with you later. Space is so hostile to humanity already, and you made it just a little bit safer for everybody. The Terramorphs don't stand a chance. This is going to make a real difference. This is one for the Constellation history books, Captain. So humble, too. People love that. Squeak! Anyway, I can't believe you got them to agree to the microbes. Bravo, Captain. Bravo. Me too. Sealing away the Lazarus plant hopefully is just a small risk, but that remains to be seen. Balancing risk versus reward is tricky, even more so when so much hangs in the balance. Making the subtle system safer with every petri dish.
Yes, my captain?
You might want this. You know, traveling with you has been more than just good old-fashioned fun. It's been, well, therapeutic. Well, the fact is, you've had my back countless times already, and without you, I'd be exploring some random world alone, not realizing how much that bothered me. That's just a fact. Which brings me back to that plan I mentioned earlier. I think I know how to move forward now, but I'm going to need your help. My contact sent a gift. Seems real to me. So they found an insurance settlement. Irvin's employers got paid as compensation for sabotage. It seems that the mining company got a huge payout after they won the case against Irvin. We have the settlement paperwork from their insurance. Tons of money. Oh, also the cyber runner had to move on to other work, but sent me a passcode to some computer system. I'm not sure what it goes to yet. We can just hold on to it until we figure it out. But anyway, we have enough to move forward. The missing piece here is proving that Irvin was framed. So I discovered that Irvin's original lawyer still practices law, and she'll look over everything we found. Oh, detective. I like the sound of that. If I'm the detective, does that make you my trustworthy and sensible partner with a heart of gold? Well, I can work with that. Detective Barrett at your service. Anyway, we should take everything to the lawyer and see what she says. Maybe she reviews it and decides we have no case, or we need more evidence. I don't know. If we don't have a case, I can probably let it go. But I have to try. Fantastic. I knew I could count on you. You're as reliable as an atomic clock. I've sent a list of everything we found so far to the lawyer on Gagarin. You know, I actually feel optimistic about this. Lead the way, detective. I know now isn't the best time.
Be interested in.
But I need to talk with you later.
When you have a few moments, there's something I'd like to discuss. Sorry to pull you aside like this, but I wanted to take a moment to congratulate you. Taking those steps to eradicate the Terramorph threat is essential to the safety of every living thing in the settled systems. You should be proud. Yes, exactly. I'm glad you treated the situation with the urgency it deserved. Well, I'm relieved that the United Colonies agreed to use their genetically engineered microbe to exterminate the Terramorphs. Apparently, their decision was based on your recommendation. That was a smart choice you've made. A solid scientific decision. Against it? Not at all. I follow the science. If Chief Engineer Kulkarni believes that the microbe will be effective, then we have to trust her experience. Good, good. I wouldn't want you to think it was some kind of mistake. Despite the Lazarus plant being simply locked away, your decision has made the settled systems a safer place to live for years to come. Oh, well, of course. I'm happy to be there for you. If there's anything else you ever feel like discussing, you let me know.
Hard to believe this little tin can protects us at a certain depth constantly, without fail. So far, anyway.
Yes, infallible one?
Orbital pattern locked in.
Irvin was only on Gagarin for a short time, but I know that's where we'll get our answers. We've done everything that we can do for Irvin's case, aside from going to Gagarin. I was just thinking that this is about what Irvin saw all those years ago when he arrived. He probably stood here thinking that he was going to make things better. He had a good heart. Oh, you remind me of him sometimes, wanting to make things right. And when you said it out loud, you know, I actually believe we can do it. I just hope our lawyer is as confident. Ellie Yankton. She worked on Irvin's previous case. Ellie is one of the few lawyers on this planet who's willing to take on the mining corporations in court. I sent that to our lawyer already. I asked her to confidentially review what we found. Right. She said she would meet us at our office when we arrive. Hopefully she can tell us what we need to do in order to clear Irvin's name. Let's stick together, though. Gagarin isn't a huge town, but it's not the kind of town that I want to get lost in.
Net construction is a dead industry, Chief Pretorius. Those jobs aren't coming back. But Reliant Medical, Archmite, and Satori Mills are dedicated to Gagarin. We were just hoping Gagarin could show the same dedication in return.
I'm not closing off the city every time you want to run a tour group through here.
Our investor visits are the key to making Gagarin a place that works again. A place where people want to live again.
People are living here just fine. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have security work to get back to.
You're not on my calendar. Is this Archmite related? I'm on Gagarin
I'm sorry,
to make money,
but if
not
this isn't
friends.
directly related to Reliant Medical business, you should really schedule an appointment. Gagarin is a city on the rise. Cheap facilities, an enthusiastic labor market. Archmite and Satari Mills are just learning what Reliant's known for years. Gagarin is the place to do business.
All right, I'll start there. Thanks, officer.
I have to break up one more fight at Lizzie's. She and I are gonna have problems.
Security's usually good about keeping out strays, but keep your eyes open at night for dust devils and prom queens, okay?
Have you ever met a pirate? Were you scared? I wouldn't be.
I know a guy who just got a job at the Centauri Mills.
Finally starting to cool off.
I think Gagarin is even worse off now than it was when Irvin was here.
Wonder if there are any mining jobs on Mars these days.
Put up with some dust. Well, if dust.
Well, well, well. Barrett, you're actually here. Astounding.
Ellie! Ellie, come on. I promised we'd stop by, didn't I?
People make promises all the time, Barrett. And most folks try to avoid Gagarin, not visit it. Anyway, I'm glad you made it out here. We have work to do, don't we? It's not a resort. It's a working town run by mining corporations. You don't come here unless you need to, and you don't stay unless you have to.
Or unless you're a bright-eyed, optimistic lawyer who genuinely wants to make things better for others. Right, Ellie?
You're kind, Barrett. Yes, I suppose there's that type of person as well. Not exactly, but similar cases. A corporation commits a crime and needs a scapegoat, so they select someone powerless to target.
The quintessential Gagarin tale.
Indeed. Down to business. Perfect. What do you already know?
So we already know that Irvin worked for Hephaestus Mining Company years ago, and they blamed him for catastrophic economic and ecological issues here on Gagarin.
Yes. He lost his case because he didn't defend himself, and we had almost no evidence without him.
I recall receiving a message asking him to appear in court a day after his funeral.
An unfortunate reality of interplanetary legal communiques, I'm afraid. He was publicly blamed for the economic woes, and his accounts were seized in compensation.
His account on Gagarin specifically. It was just the amount he was paid years ago for the job.
Right. They would have taken his assets and other settlements, but by law, his death prevented it. Well, we can bring the case to a judge here if we have new evidence or a witness.
What about the evidence we found so far?
Yes, well, about that. It's just not enough. In order for me to go before a judge, I'd like to have some solid evidence pertaining to motive. The courts won't entertain a challenge to its ruling unless we're sure that something major was missed in the original trial.
What was the motive from the original trial?
We had no solid motive after our witness withdrew his testimony. Yeah, we need something major. Documentation, recordings, a witness, something.
It's been so long. How could we find anything like that?
I've thought about this a lot since the original case. The mine that Irvin worked at was shuttered in 2309. They probably still have documents relating to whatever happened there with him.
Not really. All I know is that it's a Hephaestus mine from 20 years ago, somewhere on Gagarin.
I don't have a couple decades to wait for you to search them all, so we'll need to narrow it down. Not necessarily. To Hephaestus, it might be cheaper to run away and let the dust bury it all. That's where you come in. I don't know which mine he worked at when the incident took place. In theory, you could find that information on a Foundry terminal, if you can access it. You'll need a passcode. That's the hard part. Besides the Foundry records, there also might be something in Irvin's apartment. If he knew he was being framed, he might have held on to some documents there.
Makes sense to me.
You've been hanging on to that old apartment this whole time, Barrett?
Yeah, it was easier to not bother with it. Not like it's worth anything in this economy anyway.
I hope you still have the key.
I have it. Figured maybe I'd sell it while we were here anyway. May as well, right?
Hopefully, that's enough to work with for now. If you'll excuse me, I have to get some court documents ready for this case.
I should still have the key to Irvin's apartment. I hope it's worth our time, but I can't be sure. Irvin's old apartment isn't far from here. I doubt there's much in there, but it's good to check.
Do you have a ship?
End of the colony war hit Gagarin hard.
I'm gonna become a famous Baptist.
They probably never intended for... Irvin's old apartment. Here, use this key. After you, Captain. Now I get why he wanted me to look after his plants. No windows, insufficient power for proper lamps. Oh, he must have been miserable. I wonder he wrote so much. Got this bagel. Wrong at all. Wait a second. What about this safe? I bet it's locked by a terminal. Find anything helpful to the case, Captain? Well, I'll be. If you ever doubted Irvin's genius, look at all this. Still... chugging along 20 years later. Hold on. Is that what I think it is? Aha! Will you look at that? If we go to town hall, I bet we can get a copy of that hunting license. Hey, you might want this.
We're not supposed to leave the canyon.
You ever read about the early history? This town hall has seen better days. Hopefully that public access computer is still working. So...
All these fancy new businesses going up.
We should check in with Ellie soon, after we visit Town Hall. He lived here for a few weeks, but everything went to hell with Hephaestus, so I didn't. I wouldn't have liked living in this metal box anyway. I bet we could look up that application in the public records at Town Hall. Not sure what that does for us, but it's a lead. Let's try to get into that safe. Looks like it's wired through the security system. Irvin only lived here for a couple of months, but it felt like an eternity. That is an extremely impressive specimen. And somehow it's managed to stay alive for the past 20 years. I'll hold on to it for now and see if I can't dig up some of Irvin's research on it. I don't think that's useful, but we should show it to Ellie anyway. Let's try to get into that safe. Looks like it's wired through the security system. Ellie's going to love seeing this hunting license. We're regular detectives, aren't we? I feel like we're really making good progress here, you know? I have something for you. You should check in with Ellie soon, after we visit Town Hall. Yep. Take this. Enjoy.
You heading outside the city? Be careful. If the heat
Folks on Gagarin?
I remember watching shiny new mechs rolling out of ships.
You still want to do that hike?
Coordinates look valid to me.
Is this a
Imagine
bad
Irvin
idea?
thinking the same
It's a
thing
hike.
all those years ago.
Get out of the damn city.
Just a job, right?
Remember what the horizon
Well, at least we know where to keep looking, right?
In the sun, with dust devils chasing us.
You just want to go to Lizzie's?
Guess we'll see what state the mine is in. It's possible they collapsed it before they left. We just won't know until we get there. If that's the case, we'll just have to figure something out.
Rough day, right?
Careful. This place was shuttered 20 years ago. But it might have new tenants now. I can't believe Irvin came here. Sure. Let's do this. I'm fine. I'm so ready for this. Hold on. Well, they don't need it now. Did you say something? Oh, I got it! This looks promising. This looks like administration. Company records. Bingo. All right. Now let's go find Irvin and Helgi's lab stations. children of the bacterial colonies, not the apex predators. So, they ruined the ecosystem here, and it had nothing to do with Urban. This is it. This is what Ellie needs to see. Lights are on down here at least. That's good. Tried to do the right thing here. I'm sure Ellie would want to see this. He's citing numerous ethics violations dating back to before Urban's time, and Hephaestus just ignored him. I hope Ellie is still taking names and holding people accountable around here.
Gagarin was a one-industry city for a long time.
I remember watching shiny new mechs rolling onto ships at the port.
Ellie's going to love seeing this hunting license. Is that Irvin's employment contract? Let me see. We've already got the coordinates to mine H363. But this will still solidify the fact that he was there.
I have to break up one more fight at Lizzie's. She and I are going to have problems.
hate it when the walkways creak.
We're not supposed to leave the canyon. Too dangerous.
You have any problems? You should talk to Chief Pretorius. She'll help you out.
Ellie! Hello?
Welcome back, detectives.
Ellie, I sent you all the data from the mine already.
Welcome back, you
I'm
two.
sure you know.
How was the trip to the mine?
You're gonna love this, Ellie.
Okay, someone better tell me. Come on.
We found the coordinates to Irvin's old work site and went there. Huge battle. Fire, explosions. Pew, 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 pew.
Barrett, please.
You should have seen the plants in there, too. Weird stuff. Anyway, you read over the documents we found there, right? What do you think?
What you both found in that mine is remarkable. These documents show that the chemicals released by the mining process contaminated the ecology even before Irvin was tasked with removing the predators. And they also show that Helgi informed Hephaestus of the issue, and it was repeatedly ignored. And with that, I think we've got ourselves a case, my friends.
Yes! That's what I wanted to hear, Ellie. Woo!
Yes, but it's still likely to lose. Because what we really need now is Helgi as our witness, and that is a problem. Helgi isn't an ideal witness at all. He was our star witness the first time, and he never showed up. Plus, he's got a reputation around town. After he quit, he went a bit weird.
I can handle a bit weird. I know the captain can too.
Clearly. But the judge might feel differently. It might be worth finding some character witnesses too while you're looking for him. I'm glad you're taking it in stride. It's just, for a case with this much science, we need the man who wrote the claims to back them up. Maybe even explain it in layman's terms. That's also a bit tricky. He's hard to find. Doesn't really stay in one place for long. You might ask Dr. Kayala. She checks up on folks who fall through the cracks sometimes. You'd have to convince her to tell you where he is. That might be hard.
Sounds like we're making a stop at the med clinic. We'll be back when we convince Helgi to be a witness.
Listen, if he refuses, then he refuses. Can't force him.
Yeah, we don't want to press him too hard. The last thing we need is him refuting what he wrote. This is going to take a light touch, but I think we can handle it.